I'm here today with Craig Brown, Chief Executive of AIM-listed ECR Minerals, a gold exploration company that owns the key Bailieston and Crescent gold exploration projects in the heart of Australia's Victoria Goldfields. Craig, it's good to speak with you again.
Hello, Alan. Thanks for having me.
Okay, so we recently spoke about the drilling campaign at Bayleston, which of course is well underway. And I picked up your interview yesterday where you discussed the recent placing to raise a further 2 million with Novum Securities at 2.2p. Now, I've had many messages from investors who felt they were caught out by the placing due to the already strong cash position in the company. In hindsight, would you have handled this differently?
Yeah, often there is a difficulty with doing placings to and including retail investors, but we'll certainly after some discussions we'll try and make sure that they certainly are included in future. The problem is if it takes too long to get the documentation back and that you have a slippage in the share price, and even in this particular case, I mean, our share price after we had a research note released from Novum went over 3p, and the placing price ended up being 2.2p. So there's always that difficulty that you do get slippage when you are actively going out there and discussing placing with retail investors. We didn't need the money. In hindsight, it was probably a mistake taking it, but it's given us an additional boost that we can further develop our the projects at a quicker pace, and we can start drilling at Crescent, which is what we've got a contract almost ready to go. It's either the very end of April or beginning of May that they'll actually start drilling on site at Crescent. That's in addition to our own drill rig currently drilling at Baylesson. I mean, overall, the market's been on a bit of a downward trajectory for the last kind of 2 or 3 months. It started in Canada with some of the gold stocks. The nature of exploration business, it can be flying high one day and down the next. But, we've certainly secured our position by having this additional cash to accelerate the program. And, we have a large retail following, and, we'll certainly try and find a way of making sure that you're included in future placings.
Okay, well, of course, the shares are recovering since that sell-off. And of course, with those drilling results that you announced, you identified gold and mineralisation at HR3, of course, the Historic Reserve 3 prospect. You've drilled 6 holes so far, and I'm going to bring up a slide now. The red dots show the drilled site, and the green dot shows the current drill site. Craig, can you tell us how big HR3 is, and can you sort of outline the plan for us going forward here?
Well, HR3 stands for Historic Reserve 3, and there was a reserve which isn't JORC compliance in accordance with the current standards, but there were estimations that, and that was just from a few RC holes of some 35,000 odd ounces back in the 1990s. But they just put a few holes into it and they didn't explore it fully. I mean, certainly it's made up of more than just Byron. You've got Scalars, Maori Reef, Dan Genders, and we've only released results from the first 4 holes so far. So the Maori and the Dan Genders, we haven't had the results back from the laboratory as yet, but we hope to get those back and released in the next couple of weeks. I mean, exploration's not always an easy task, and you don't necessarily always get hits straight away. But on a previous project where we discovered over 5 million ounces, the first 2 holes produced absolutely nothing. Whereas we certainly know that the gold's there because we've had some hits out of the drilling to date.
Okay, well, I think, of course, the scale of your operations might not be clear to some. You published a new company presentation on the website a few months ago, which show in detail each of the projects there. So can you talk us through the bigger picture at Bayleston? I'm bringing the Bayleston slide up now from your company presentation.
Okay, well, Baylesson consists of really, quite a number of prospects within it, and in each prospect there's various reefs, and so you've got the HR3, which is like say Byron, Maori, Dan Genders, hard up reef scalas. Then in addition, you've got HR4, Cherry Tree and Cherry Tree South. No work's really been done there. Just they've found some mineralization on surface. Black Cat, we did a small program at Black Cat back in 2019, and that was with a just a small percussion rig, but we did get some reasonable grades out of it. Blue Moon was a new discovery for us, and we first did some diamond drilling there in 2018, and subsequent RC drilling in 2019, and we certainly see that there's certainly some the potential for size at Blue Moon. So some real ounces to work off. If you want me to go in, I mean, we did a rock chip sampling program around HR3. It had been historically mined, and this is according to records back from dating back to the 1860s. 16 ounces at an average grade of about 5.5 grams per ton. I mean, on our rock chip sampling program in 2018, we were getting, grades of up to 67.5 grams a ton. So, although these results haven't come out, perhaps as maybe some people in the market had expected, I mean, that's part of the process of exploration. You've got to put the holes in, study the structures, and then make sure you after you've got those structures in place, then continue your drilling. So I'm not disappointed by the results. They weren't as good as they could have been, but we've certainly proven that there's gold mineralization there, and to get hits of 19 grams and 21 grams, I mean, that's quite reasonably high gold grades, and from that point of view, I think it's relatively positive for the company.
It is indeed. Well, I think also it's just the scale of the operations at HR3 and the other territories. You are literally and metaphorically scratching at the surface at the moment, aren't you? There's so much more to come.
Really?
So on that note, I want to move on to Crescent now, which of course is just up the road from the Ballarat gold mine. And we've got another slide here, the slide from Crescent. The presentation states that the Dimmock's main shale runs through 7 kilometers of the Crescent footprint, or that's the Crescent license area. Can you just tell us what the Dimmock's main shale is, Craig?
Well, it basically is shale. It's it's a shale, a loose rock, and through the shale, we've got a variety of quartz veins. And those quartz veins have been proven to contain mineralization. I mean, we've had grades of up to 80 grams per ton in there when we did the whole of bag testing. But we know the gold's in there. It was certainly mined back in the 1800s, and the surface section, but nothing at depth's been taken. And also across a lot of the surface section, it was mined for alluvials, and so the quartz reef underneath those alluvials weren't touched. So that's where we see that's the most exciting project if you compare between Creswick and Bayleston, and so that has the greatest chance of pulling in millions of ounces.
Okay, and you said also that in order to progress the joint venture at Crescent, ECR needed to complete 2 further license applications. Can you elaborate on that?
Yes. There's been delays with the department, and but the license, we've had confirmation recently that it's being processed now. So we're very hopeful that the second of, well, we've got 1 license issued and another 2 applications, but we've had feedback from the department that the second license should be issued fairly soon. It's been advertised, and we're quite confident that the department's quite confident that we should get that license back in the near future.
Okay, and regarding joint ventures, you're going to press on with drilling at the end of this month at Crescent, regardless, I understand.
Correct, but that's not using our own rig. That's a separate contractor coming in. Our own rig will continue drilling at Bayleston and move down to HR4. I mean, like I said, there's 5 key prospect areas within the Bayleston license. There's a separate drilling contractor which will be doing the drilling, the first 2,000 meters out of drilling at Crescent. Potentially more results come in. Great, we're going to keep going.
Super. Okay, so moving on, there's of course the Tambo Project in Eastern Victoria, an area that your head geologist, Dr. Rodney Boucher, is very familiar with, having grown up nearby. Is there any progress at Tambo since we last spoke?
Yes, we just received notification from the department. It looks like one of those, one of the 2 licenses is ready to be granted. So, that's very positive news, and the email came through within it was yesterday, I think it was, from Australia. So they needed one additional piece of information, which we supplied overnight, and so we're very hopeful that we'll get those Tambo licenses very soon. Or at least one of the 2 is ready to go.
Super, that's great news. So turning now to the company, you've got nearly 6 million in the bank, your own drill rig, and you've stated that there's no requirement for an additional rig at present. You also said some of the funds would be used to expand the headquarters at Bendigo. Can you tell us about that?
Well, because of using a contractor to do the Creswick drilling, certainly, and we have quite a lot of analytical equipment there. So we've got two geologists, 2 fieldies, I suppose, which are geological assistants, just simply analyzing the core and plotting out the structures and preparing everything. So and we do have equipment which can assay the actual the elements using the portable XRF. We've also processed quite a number of samples which we've sent off to a separate laboratory, ALS in Adelaide. And so in addition to drill results, we've also got these soil samples coming through which have been taken from selective spots. So we've got a team when we're doing the work. So we've got quite a lot of people on the ground. Some of them are employees, some of them a lot work as contractors, and so they supply an invoice and we simply pay them at the end of the month, which seems the easiest way to do things in Australia.
Sure. Okay, so then to summarize, you've got nearly 6 million in the bank, you're fully equipped, and you've got an accelerating drill program. And the company market capitalization today is around 16 to 17 million. That means shares can be picked up below 2p. That sounds like bargain territory to me.
Certainly, I think so. I think the company's got a lot more potential to grow. It should be valued a lot higher than what it's currently being valued in the market. And I think it's just been a bit of a misunderstanding as a result of the recent placing and drill results. But I mean, it's not, the drill results were in no way disappointing to us. We were very positive and pleased with them. And we certainly think that, we're onward and upwards. So, watch this space. But, things are going well. We've got a good team behind us and we're working hard.
Well, on that very positive note, Craig Brown, Chief Executive of ECR Minerals, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me, Alan.